Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It is Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com, along with my very, very good friend who I'm pointing to correctly, ladies and gentlemen.
Robbie from Walking in Her Shoes, Walking in My Shoes, Thailand.
Walking in My Shoes, Thailand. Okay, and I'm gonna try and practice this already. Let's start off with a high five. Skadoosh. Yeah. See, look at this, guys. If you wonder about our technical capabilities, wonder no longer. So Robbie, you are still in Bangkok, yes, sir?
I am still here in Bangkok, loving it. Getting ready to leave, and we're gonna head back to Jomtien, and Kitty's gonna head back, and all that kind of cool stuff.
So what we're talking about, big shocker, we didn't just put random consonants and vowels together, guys, is the Thailand blues. Now, in our previous video, we basically said, okay, what's Bangkok blues, that sort of thing. And as you might guess, Robbie and I just don't flip on the lights, and all of a sudden we're doing a live stream. We talk about the topics and that sort of thing, because again, we're trying to make this the most professional morning show you've ever seen, which of course we start off by A, not wearing pants, 2, shave our heads.
It's it.
And the topics pretty much write themselves after that. So Thailand blues, first of all, why don't you define it as you feel it? Let's start with that.
Wow, heavy-hitting question right off the bat. So Thailand blues, guys, if you have been here, you've had this. If you have not, you will have it. It is pretty painful in a sense that you don't want to leave, and it's depression. Let's face it, I'm a 50-year-old guy. I've been through the ups and downs of living life, and it is simply your stomach doesn't feel good. You're not happy. You might even be grumpy. And you know you have it. You know you're feeling like shit. I mean, and I'm having it, as Mike said, Thailand blues. I'm having it, the pre-blues kind of a thing. So, yeah, so you're feeling boo-hoo-hoo.
And do you think, I mean, I suppose, you know, if we were to get out the, what is it, the DMSR 50 or whatever that giant book is that lists all of the mental things that I have wrong with me. Separation anxiety, do you believe it's probably similar?
I think it's similar because I'm going to be separated. And for me, it's just not only Thailand, but I actually have a Thai girlfriend.
Right.
I have a condominium, which I love. And I have a lot of new friends and people I've met and things I do. Living your best life, as I always preach on my channel. And now I get to go to United States. And I love my country, guys.
Totally.
Love USA. Nothing against it, but when I say home, man, I'm leaving my home. So Thailand blues.
I was sharing a story with Robbie right before we started about how I sort of first realized it. And I will say that, I mean, Robbie and I, look, at the end of the day, where we basically grew up, if you will, like in the last 10 to 15 years where we've lived and worked and earned and done things and used our brain and, again, had the emotional ups and downs that life provides us, i.e. learning moments. But, you know, I was in San Diego. He's in Pismo Beach. It's friggin', you know, I mean, we live in places in the United States where people save up all year to come for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And
yes, absolutely.
Right? And from both of where we live, you can find a reasonably priced ticket to go to Maui, okay? And a lot of people will be like, oh, you think California is great? Oh, my God, go to Hawaii, right? So anyway, so I've gone on to Hawaii. Have you been to Hawaii?
I actually have never been. Okay. I've been told, you know what, you live in Pismo, why go?
Well, right, yeah, indeed. There's well, I want to spend three times as much on a weekly basis.
Exactly.
Maui is amazing. It was definitely one of the, so anyway, my point, I bring that up because it's like I went to Maui, and I mean, you land and you're like, you know, I'm there in Lahaina basically, and it's this beautiful, you know, tropical, of course, and that's the point. I mean, they designed it that way, right?
Yes.
We invaded it for that reason. And you know, you say, oh dude, I'm totally living in Maui. I got to move to Maui. You know, so I get out the local newspaper and I look for jobs and I look for rental properties and I look for real estate investments and businesses that were, you know, and I go through all this stuff. And then about a week goes by and I'm like, $8.50 for a gallon of milk. There's no friggin' way you know. Yeah. So it's like, all right, but again, you know, you go to a tropical paradise. Gracie and I went to Bermuda a while ago, you know, and you get there and it's like, oh my God, pink sand. It's made out of like cocaine. No, it's made out of powder. And it's like, oh, this is
close
awesome.
Enough.
I want to live here. Yeah, close enough. I mean, it costs the same, the damn sand, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, this is awesome. But again, you and I, like I think a lot of guys that watch this channel, gals as well, have come to Thailand, said, oh my God, I like this, have come back. Wow, I really like this, have come back. Wow, I really want to make friends, and I want to get a condo, and I want to buy a SIM card, and I want to be part. I want to get a bank account. I want to integrate myself, and then, and again, enough guys. I want to move to Thailand. This will be my new home, right? So
I like what I'm doing right now.
That's exactly what you're doing right now, and I was pretty much in your shoes, if you will, walking in them. I was in Pattaya, and it was like, I don't know, it was before I met Gracie, so it was probably like 2015, 2016. So at that time, I had gone to Thailand for about 3 years. So I'm basically, I'm in my Robbie, and I'm back, and it was one of those times where, like, I had been there like 3 times a year, which you just shared. You're on number 3 this year, right? Trip number 3.
So yes. Trip number 3.
Right.
4 will be November. That's correct.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting there on the sidewalk, basically, on the ledge in Pattaya, and it's sunset. So the sun is setting down over Pattaya. The weather is arguably perfect. And I just bought Cowpack Guy. I just got some fried rice with chicken right behind me, from some guy on the street for like $2, nothing, free. I'm sitting there and I'm eating it and I'm looking up over the Pattaya sign and the sun's setting down and it's just like gorgeous and the water is like crystal flat. I don't know if it's crystal flat. Perfectly flat, let's say that. And and I say to myself, what the hell? I am now leaving home to go back to this other place that, again, I'm not going back to prison. I'm going back.
And you love your country.
I love my country, and I also had a pretty sweet life. I mean, I'm living, 2 blocks from the beach. I've got this ridiculously overpriced car that is very comfortable. My job is basically overpaying me, and I'm living the dream, kinda. So I got everything going on with the exception of my environment, right? And I can't just huck all that stuff. I can't throw my Acura in a backpack and head over to Pattaya. Take it all with me.
That's a great way you said it, your environment.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of the thing. But again, like you were saying, the environment, you're like, guys, I have like friends here now. Like, I'm not just like, oh my God, I get to be with 6 girls a week. No, you're like, dude, I got a steady girlfriend. And I got buddies like Roger that live, 3 floors above you or something like this.
3 floors, and we hang out.
Yeah. The other night I'm like, hey, hey, Mike, when do you want to talk next? Oh, yeah. It sends me a picture. He's having dinner with Roger and his girlfriend with his girlfriend.
Mexican restaurant, by the way, guys. This isn't Thai food. This is a freaking California style Cal-Mex food. So
that's a great point because that's the worst, right? You're like, oh, well, I mean, I get it. It's Thailand, but I can't get Twinkies and I can't get Snickers bars and I can't get whatever and I can't, do this and I can't do all this stuff that I can do in the U.S. There's no Costco here, so clearly I'm, limited in my options. And you're like, no, I can literally do everything. Like I can get pizza,
about everything.
I can get Mexican food.
Freaking amazing pizza, in my opinion.
Big time. So again, you're in Bangkok right now, right? So like international city, because people are like, they always ask me. I'm sure they ask you this. What do you miss most about the U.S. in Bangkok? And I'm like, okay, I can literally get anything I want in Bangkok. Like there are certain things that are more expensive, that are stupidly expensive there, like the shaving cream that I like. I mean, it costs $12 a bottle, and here it's like $1.99. Okay, I got the $12. But to be fair, if I also wanted to drive a BMW, that's about a $200,000 plus USD commitment, right?
But once you're here, you're not going to want to drive anyways. So
and that's kind of the point, right? Is that you change this based on kind of your environment that comes up. So. Anyway, so I've had this, you've had this. And so here Robbie and I we're talking and we're like, okay, how are we going to come up for topics for this show, for example, like a few weeks ago? And it's like, dude, all we're going to do is talk about exactly what we did because there's a bunch of guys that are along the path. There's a bunch of guys that have been there 20 years that I can learn, that we can both learn stuff. Everyone can learn stuff from. And these 20-year-old guys, they're like, holy shit, I should have done what Robbie's doing early on. No regrets.
And I wish somebody would have told me. Yeah, and I wish somebody would have told me and have a show to go to and just listen.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like you and I mean, we watched the YouTube videos, right?
Yeah.
So there was information there. There's also something to be said for making your own mistakes, right? And sort of, learning from those. But I will say, before I forget, I do want to throw this up there, which is basically both of our email addresses. which is down there at the bottom, guys. And because if you watch this and you don't get a chance, we don't see your chat or whatever, and we don't respond to it, or we don't respond to it in the comments appropriately. First of all, apologize on behalf of both of us. But email us, feel free. walkinginmyshoes2020@gmail.com, and then of course Mike's at bkk.fm.
And this is a live premiere, so you can leave a message right now, correct? And somebody's going to answer it.
In fact, I believe on this one, you will be the one chatting, so that'll be good. So you guys can talk directly to Robbie. He is live.
So if you want a therapist,
absolutely.
So if you want a therapist,
yeah,
there you go. You'll have the spot therapy sessions. Bam.
I think it's time for a spot therapy session. That could be. We may need to have those monthly. Why would we want therapy sessions on a lunar basis? Is that some
doctor?
Is that some Tampax reference that I'm making that I don't know about?
Interesting. Oh man, that might be. Since we're talking about the blues, right?
Since we're talking about the blues. So okay, so Robbie has this very real thing, and again, it's one of those things that is coming. And one of the things, Robbie, that I loved on one of your videos that you said is you're like, dude, it's okay to be not okay.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So the point is that you're still there, and you're not coming here, Carrie, right? You're not jumping off the balcony or whatever.
No.
So tell us some things that you believe are good things to do while you're still there, knowing that you're getting on a plane, but you're also coming back. So what have you been doing for the last few days?
So, as a YouTuber or wannabe YouTuber, of course, I'm out there shooting videos. So today, guys, I'll just quickly go over this. This is what I did today. So Mike and I have had conversations about 3 days in Bangkok. You've heard the thing, hey, 1 day in Bangkok. So Mike brings up, hey, what would you do in 3 days? I'm like, heck, I'm going to slam 3 days into one, and I'm going to see if I can do it. And guys, I do recommend these three things I'm going to say right now. I'm going to hit up Chinatown and go through the markets and the crazy paths and the people just in your hair just yelling at you, and the street food and all the tuk-tuks and all that stuff. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the Grand Palace, which, guys, I think it's actually a great experience one time. I don't think you need to do it over and over, but to do it once is actually quite amazing, in my opinion. Again, this is all my opinion. What are the things that you would do? And then the last one, and let's face it, a lot of you guys who listen to this, watch this, you're single guys, go to Nana Plaza. I mean, you can even go to Obsession. But go, that's a bar on Nana Plaza on the first floor.
If you walk around, you will be pulled into it by women that are quite strong. So
and beautiful.
Yes, as it turns out,
Yeah, and you can do all that in 1 day. And I'm thinking, man, I'm going to do it. So I get up this morning, start off by going to Chinatown.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. Started off really hot. I got my GoPro out. I'm doing video. I'm really not feeling it, guys. I'm really trying to just get my content in and show you guys what's it like in Chinatown and give my talking. And we're in these little paths. I'm going to these cool little food places, and Kitty's loving it. Kitty's my Thai girlfriend. She's loving it. And I tell her, you get to eat all day long, and her eyes are like, really? I can eat all day?
Right.
Yeah, she loved it. Yeah, so much. So we're walking along, and man, it starts raining cats and dogs, like literally buckets of water. Now, guys, be sure to watch that video because I don't turn off the camera, and we're just soaked, man. And we're in these little alleys, literally the size of two people, walking these alleys with scooters getting through us.
Right.
And we have to duck into the store, and it's pouring water. So back to the question, what do I do? The number one thing is I distract myself because I don't want to think about that I have to board the plane tomorrow or the next day or whatever. And even though I'm already planned to come back, my trip is booked, my hotel, everything is booked to come back. My next trip is already done. So there's not a bunch of pre-planning I have to do. Now it's just exiting and coming back 2 months. And so I'm distracting myself, keeping myself super busy, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could say, oh, Robbie, you're not facing it. Well, yeah, I'm facing it by distracting myself, right? Right. Like Mike said, I'm not jumping off a bridge.
Yeah.
The bottom line is Thailand blues is real. and I don't want to sit in my hotel and just cry and mope, and I don't want to make Kitty's time miserable, and she's having a good time, and she has Thailand blues too because I'm leaving her. I mean, that's a whole nother thing.
And what's funny, again, you did a video on this on you coming back without her knowing, right? I mean, you surprised her effectively 3 months early, right? 2 months.
Yes.
Yeah. And so maybe, you don't know. I mean, I know she can't hear me right now, but maybe she's going to listen to this and she's going to be like, well, the last time he said he wasn't coming back till November, he showed up early. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe this is going to be a repeat performance.
No repeat on this thing.
Reality.
Reality is I am leaving. I will be coming back and dealing with it. So I'm sure that answered the question. I think it did.
Yeah, no, I mean it's some great recommendations. I will say that, and I know when you say the Grand Palace, there's that area, right? It's basically south of Khao San Road. But you can get there multiple ways. Obviously, you can take a taxi really easily. Bolt, I know you're a big fan.
Yeah, big fan.
But the other thing that's right next to it is Wat Po. And Wat Po is where the reclining Buddha is. And if you haven't...
love it.
Dude, how big are those feet? I mean...
Dude.
You take a picture of it, right? It's the infamous pictures don't do it justice. I mean,
and that's a must do.
It is.
And that is a must do. That Grand Palace area, as Mike just said, the laying down Buddha actually to me was better than the Grand Palace. That's just my opinion again.
That's totally, I completely agree.
Worth seeing it.
What was the feeling you had when you were in there? Because it's not like, I'm going to like a tourist attraction that is religious, at least for me.
No, so great question. So when I toured that Grand Palace and that Buddha area, what was it called again, Mike? You had a name. What was the name?
Wat Po.
Wat Po. So which Wat stands for temple or church or whatever.
Temple.
So I'm going to this Wat Po, and it's myself and Kitty. We're not in a tour group, and you can get tour groups, fine. Pay your 600 baht, whatever. I'm in not a tour group, and we just show up, and I see this big building, and you can see a big gold something in there, and you kind of walk up to it, and you can see the sign laying down Buddha, and then you kind of peek your head in before you take off your shoes, and it's freaking massive. Yeah. And guys, man, you get, I don't care what religion you are, you get these weird feeling of warmth and
nice.
This is the ultimate gratitude attack for me. I'm like going, dude, am I having a gratitude attack? And it was just beautiful in a sense that I felt so good.
Yeah.
And I think it's that energy of so many people living their lives to go see that thing. There are people who do that. They travel the whole country on nothing.
Yeah.
To go see that and just be grateful. And guys, it's that weird feeling. So in America, if you've ever gone to the Vietnam Wall in Memorial in D.C., Washington, D.C., and you get that warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you, this Buddha thing gave me the same feeling. So, and it's two different things. But it's, man, I love it.
That's an interesting comparison. And again, guys, a lot of the stuff we talk about, this isn't rehearsed, right? So I'm having this feeling now for the first time, basically, because I'm reflecting back on when I've been to the Vietnam War Memorial.
Yeah.
The first time, I don't know about you, but like when we were in the 8th grade where I live, when this is New England, in the 8th grade, you take an 8th grade trip class. Your whole class goes to Washington, D.C. for a week. And that's one of the things we go to. And of course I saw it and stuff. And it was just like, okay, I don't know, how old are you?
Yeah.
13, 14. I'm like, okay. And there's like adults around it, and they're like touching it, and they're doing the thing where they like take the piece of paper and they scratch it over the name, and then they take the name.
And they're quiet and they're not talking.
And just fast forward to the Chinese tourist buses. Anyway, I was there, let's see, probably 3-4 years ago. I cruised down. I was here in Boston, and I went down for the day. I had to pick up actually something from the Estonian embassy. And much different feeling than when I was 13 and I was a walking gland because, of course, I'm 13 and my hormones are crazy. And I'm like, girls. And whereas now, I mean, I just say, a wall. Oh, girl. I mean, it still happens, right? But it's sort of
yeah.
So anyway, and big time feeling. and I think I actually started crying when I was at the War Memorial. I had a very different experience than you. I didn't have a gratitude attack when I was at the War Memorial because I think I had also gone to Southeast Asia a few times since then and thought, man, we really got to stop sticking our nose into places where it doesn't necessarily. I felt the same way when I was at Da Nang for the first time. I'm sitting there on the beach and I'm like, God, I feel like I just want to apologize to people. Now, again, I'm not political. I'm not, right? So it was a thing. But like, dude, no, gratitude. Because you're indoors and there's this like giant molded thing that, it's covered. It's like real gold. It's not like, hey, let's go get some pitch and paint from Home Depot. No, it's like, and everyone's like putting little coins in these bowls, like, one after another. And they've got tie writing on it, which sadly I'm ignorant to. Maybe Kitty told you I don't know what they mean, but it is an amazing experience. And you're right. And when people say, oh my God, I can't believe foreigners have to pay here, but Thais can go in for free. It's important that you guys reflect back on what Robbie said, which is like Thai people spend their entire lives to get there. And so, they should be allowed in for free, dude.
That's right. Pay your 200 baht and stop bitching. That's the way I look at it.
Because if 200 baht bugs you, dude, you should have stayed.
You're in the wrong country. Exactly.
Yeah, because if you think that's expensive, cruise back home.
And it's worth going to, guys. And again, this is it's worth going to. If you had one day, I highly recommend Chinatown. Do that area that Mike's talking about, which is the Grand Palace, and then the last one. Again, Nana Plaza, because let's face it, a lot of guys are coming here, and that I get asked majority of the time about the girls. And I've been there, done that. Patia got out of me. Not that I don't miss it sometimes. I like it. It's fun. And it is part of the experience. Go experience Nana. It's freaking awesome.
And guys,
I don't even drink, and I don't drink, so.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because, you don't need to go there and buy cocaine and like lose all your money and wake up like you're in The Hangover Part 2. It's quite and the reason we're saying like Nana Plaza and Soy Cowboy is because those are basically the Disneyland of red light districts in Thailand. There is a certain amount of like full on tourism in those places, especially Soy Cowboy. For example, the last time I went to Soy Cowboy and like when it was with Gracie. Because she's like, what's it like in there? Because if you guys don't know, it's real easy for a guy, especially a foreigner, to walk into one of those places, whatever, people are going to chatter at you. But if you look like an Asian woman who's attractive, i.e. Kitty, Gracie, you don't just walk into one of those places because they're like, dude, you're going to pull customers out of here, right? So she can't go there by herself, right? And she was there with a girlfriend one time, not specifically there, but in an area like that. And she's like, let's go in. We want to go in. I've never seen it before. And the guys are like, well, who are you with? And they're like, well, we're here by ourselves. We just want to check it out. They're like, no. So anyway, my point is that I didn't go there to like leave with someone for the night. I went there with my now wife, then girlfriend, right? You been? And you've been to places like that with Kitty. You take Kitty to Soy 6, for God's sake, right? And it's just because it's this. Talk about people watching.
Oh, it is the best.
Yeah, and
you got to do it. It's a must do. It's a must do.
And if you're I'll cheat on my wife. No. We're not condoning. I'm not encouraging that, right? So, it's one of those things that it's just, and it's so 180 out of phase from Wat Po, right?
Totally. And if you ended up, totally. And you in the same day, by the way, guys.
Right. From debauchery to Debuda, right?
There you go. And the cool thing is, if you were to really do all those things in one day, or the 3 days, as we're talking about 3 days in Thailand, this will really distract you from those Thailand blues. And that's kind of, and I'm back at my hotel now, and, I'm a little bummed out, but I'm happy I had a great day.
Yeah.
Lots of water. It rained crazy, and I did tape it. Ate lots of great food today. I went to a cafe, which, by the way, would never be legal in the States, where you got to walk up this pole and these little tiny steps to sit down.
Oh, you mean from an OSHA perspective?
Yeah, it's not legal. And we had, I forget the name of the little Chinese dishes with the little bread. What's it called? Ooh. We had some Chinese food. It was really amazing. If you said it, I would be like, yes, it's really common.
Oh, okay.
But we had that with some cool coffees. And anyways, it was a lot of fun. That was my day. Distraction, as Kitty did ask me a couple times, you're not feeling good. I will get you some medicine. Well, I don't need medicine. I just need to stay here, or I want to stay home.
Yeah.
You know,
it's funny.
So, and yeah,
no, go ahead.
I have to go back, and I have to go back to the U.S. So I don't have a choice, really. I have to close up my business, get it situated.
And I mean, again, and this is another thing that I'm quite certain you've heard from other guys that you potentially met there now or watched on YouTube, which is, I got to go home and close up my Dave from Gotta Love Thailand, right? I mean, that guy was wildly successful in the HVAC business. And you don't just call up your customers and say, yeah, I'm really not going to. No, you got to have some little integrity, for Christ's sake. And you got to, do a slow burn. And, and potentially share your customers with the competition, I mean, and it depends on your trajectory and the speed with which you want to do it. I will say that for me, one of the things that also, I mean, I knew it was coming. And in fact, I'll never forget this video that I did from the Hong Kong airport. I had just left the Philippines and I was in Hong Kong because I was there for like a 2-day sort of conference thingy. And then from Hong Kong, I was taking a Delta flight. I was flying directly to Los Angeles from Hong Kong. And I'm there. And the title of the video is, I feel like my dog died. And I'm walking around, and the crazy thing, some of the guys are like, oh, it's a bummer, I got your videos, it's that kind of, and all the guys that had like been there, done that, like Rike from the Philippines, who had like been to the Philippines and then go back. They're like, dude, I know exactly how you feel. And a lot of people comment, they're like, I have no idea what you're talking. Like, okay, your dog, yeah, that's a lousy feeling. Because I was there and I'm like, okay, I am leaving Hong Kong to go back to Los Angeles, to go to San Diego, because that's where I earn my living. And I was feeling like, had this been the scenario of the life that I want, I would be flying from Hong Kong to Bangkok, where I would be meeting Gracie, just like you did a few days ago. You flew back, you came back to Bangkok, met with Kitty.
Yeah.
And after doing that and then getting home, I'm like, okay, I mean, I don't feel awesome. But again, I'm surrounded by, and then I would be like, okay, what am I grateful for? Okay, like clean water and, having a few bucks in my pocket, all that. But then it's like, okay, here's what I'm going to do, because I know that the trajectory is move to Thailand permanently with some return trips to the United States.
Yes.
And one of the things that Monday, I had a conference call I was telling Robbie about, and I talked to this guy, and he's like, okay, well, what do I do before I leave? Like, do I need to do insurance this and, money? Do I need to put 600,000 baht into a Thai bank? No, But one of the things that I always recommend to guys, if they're going to come back to the U.S. at least once, and they hate waiting in lines, is to get what's called global entry through the Trusted Traveler program. Right, which is offered by the Department of Homeland Security, and so basically it's really simple. I'll put it in the description, but ttp.dhs.gov. So Trusted Traveler Program, Department of Homeland Security.gov. It's $100, and you get this ability basically attached to your passport for 5 years, which effectively allows you to go back into the United States very quickly via kiosks. And so I was talking with Robbie about that, because I was like, well, maybe this is just me. Maybe this is just high maintenance Mike's that like doesn't want to wait in line. And the little bit that we talked about it, do you think it's something that's going to be worthwhile for you?
After just talking about for a couple of minutes, the fact that I don't take luggage with me, I am a carry-on only kind of guy.
Right.
And I go through LAX or SFO, San Francisco. So Los Angeles or San Francisco. And those, you guys, if you've gone through Los Angeles, the line is atrocious. I mean,
it can be.
Right. And then I have to take a connecting flight back home. So I think it would be beneficial, just because I don't want to stand in line.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. And again, you're not being, what would you say, what'd you call yourself?
High maintenance.
High maintenance. Mike, I'm pretty high maintenance when I take business class.
We're on the high maintenance song towel, aren't we?
Couple bitches.
Pretty much. Like my comforts.
Yeah, I like my comforts. And you guys, I'm going to go backwards one split second. Mike mentioned what's the difference or what do you miss?
Ah,
You said that earlier. What do
okay.
you miss? Now you weren't asking a question, but you just threw it out there. What do you miss? And I
Yeah,
just can't get off my mind.
awesome. Let's go for it.
What do I miss from the United States? And I'll
Hmm.
be honest with you guys, I don't miss anything. So continue on about your past.
But so that's a good point, because guys would ask,
I
I'm
don't
sure
miss
they ask you
anything.
too. They're like, what do you miss from the U.S.? And then, of course, now that I'm back here in the U.S., oh my God, on a scale of, buddy asked me that business call yesterday. He's like, on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you miss Thailand? And, when I'm back, what do you miss from the United States? And a lot of times it's like, look, there's some convenience here. Like, literally, all I have to do is blink my eyes and Amazon will send me something within 2
good
hours.
one.
Right?
Good
So that's pretty
one.
awesome.
Yes.
Now, in Bangkok, you can use Lazada and you can get some things quickly.
That's a good one. I didn't think about Amazon.
Amazon is pretty awesome. There is nothing like Amazon in the U.S. elsewhere. Amazon is absolutely in Singapore. I have Amazon ship me stuff in Bangkok, but it takes a little longer than 24 hours, and there's no Amazon Prime that will ship you stuff. You can't get kettlebells shipped for free to Bangkok. But there is Lazada, right? So my point is that there are equivalent things that basically are good enough. So in Boston, I can close my eyes and fall down on the street, and all I got to do is raise my hand and say pizza to some random traveler, and they will give me an amazing pizza that is made next door. And if I dislike that, I can go to the next pizza shop that is 1 block away, and I can also get an amazing pizza.
And get a refund from your last one.
Yeah, especially if I ordered it from...
That's right. You're not getting a refund here in Thailand. Sorry, buddy.
No, that's a good point, right? And so I've gotten refunds via Lazada, and they're okay. But again, there's nothing like the Amazon experience.
Yeah.
So there's that. But again, Bangkok. We're talking about Bangkok specifically because that's where Robbie is right now. You can get pretty much anything you want in Bangkok. The price of it could be potentially higher than you would like. Meaning, oh my God, I just got great soup on the side of the street for $2, and now I got to go pay $35 for a pizza. Well, spoiler alert: Gracie and I got 2 pizzas the other day, and they cost $75. So
what?
Yeah.
What is our gold leaf on your pizza, buddy? What are you freaking having on
You would think so. No. What I always do when I go to a pizza place to try it out for the first time, I always get a pepperoni pizza. I get a large pepperoni pizza, and then I get another.
Yes.
Right? Because it's like look at, if I'm going to compare apples to apples, right? It's like, okay, how do you do at pepperoni pizza? And so that was like $28. And then the veggie combo awesome sauce pizza with, that was like 43 something. And then of course there's tax.
That's even though crazy.
Yeah. So, but the point is that, for that kind of money, I mean, like for 1,000 baht, you can get a pretty damn good pizza in Bangkok. There are also some really great pizzas in Pattaya, in Jomtien.
Yeah.
Down in Koh Samui.
They're great places. Yeah.
I mean, so you start getting away from like the full on tourist mode. Like if you're gonna Cha Am, which is like where the Thais vacation, driving down from Bangkok, there's not any good pizza places. Like literally, there's not any. And so there's that. But it was interesting when he said, "So how much do you miss Thailand not being here? Not being there?" And where I'm at right now is pretty awesome. I am in my little bubble, as I call it, and it's a community. It's a suburb south of Boston where I grew up, where the summers are absolutely gorgeous. And everyone's like, oh my God, this must be, do you miss any? I said, look, dude, if there was 364 days of weather like this here in New England in the summer, I'd never leave because it's great. Problem is it come October in Celsius, it's like 8 degrees outside, and, because Gracie's like, oh, maybe we should stay longer. I'm like, false. We need to, because this morning it was 65. Right now, it's really nice right now, but I'm like, no. So as far as the stuff doing it ahead of time, the other reason that I mentioned Trusted Traveler and the Global Entry Program is the Global Entry Program is a significant background check. Because basically what immigration is saying is, look, dude, we need to do enough research on you to be able to trust you coming back in the country and not ask you any questions. Like you are just going to put... And you are going to be, we're going to have the same data to operate on to let you in the country now as we did 5 years ago when we checked you out. There's no like rolling checkout thing to renew, so you're good for 5 years.
Is this similar to a re-entry program, that Thailand re-entry, or no?
So, and by that, do you mean like the re-entry permit that you get?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so the re-entry permit is simply something you need to get before you leave Thailand if you have a single entry visa or effectively a multiple entry visa that is expiring by the time you get back. So you don't have of those multiple entries left. And so that is what you need. Now, there is an equivalent to that in Thailand. To get into Thailand very quickly, if you've been to Suvarnabhumi, you've seen the priority lane, right? It's basically in between one of the immigration entry points. It's actually right next to the visa on arrival, which is not something we need. We get visa exempt entry with us and then many other passports. But the visa on arrival thing, right to the right of that, I believe. It could be the left, but regardless, right next to it, says priority lane. And that's for guys, quite frankly, like Robbie, who fly business class or first class. You get that as part of your ticket. Or you can actually buy an entry, right? So like those are the people, if you ever see someone getting picked up like in a golf cart from the jetway and then they get taken, it's like, a couple thousand baht and then you also get like moved. So anyway, so you go through priority, someone's there with your luggage and then they bring you to your limo and they take you to your next
Nice.
Yeah, so that's available. Through Trusted Traveler, you can get what's called the APEC Business Travel Card. And that is one of those sort of like checkbox, like, let me do this. Now that you've checked my background, I want to be part of. And so you get an APEC Business Travel Card, also good for 5 years. And I believe that's like another $80. Maybe it's another $100. But what that allows you to do is get into Thailand very quickly. Well, if you've ever left Thailand, you know that like it's not like the U.S. Like the U.S., you just friggin' leave. And your airline is effectively in charge of, filling out the paperwork to let immigration know, if you will. That's not actual paperwork, of course. But to leave Thailand, you got to go through immigration again. There's an immigration line, and then there's an exit line, and then there's a security line and all that. And you have the ability to go through a priority exit line at Suvarnabhumi and get out into the point where you're waiting for your plane, So, but the point is that you get to get past that line quickly. APEC allows you to do that. It also allows you to do that in many other Southeast Asian countries, Philippines, where you've been, Vietnam, where you're also going to go, Singapore. I'm pretty confident you're going to go there too, but also Malaysia.
Oh, absolutely.
Indonesia.
So where do I get that? Where do I get my APEC card?
First step, thank you. The first step is you go to the Trusted Traveler Program, ttp.dhs.gov. You apply for global entry. They will then come back to you and say, okay, here's your appointment. And it could be anywhere from like 2 weeks to 6 months, but it's sort of the end of the summer right now in the United States. So you'll probably get like a call, if you will, or you'll get, a notification of like, okay, click on this now to make an appointment. The nice thing about it being post-COVID is that I did my recent interview where they ask you, like, where have you been in the last 3 years? And, like, what are you going to do? And why are you using this? And, of course, they're like, why the hell do you need an APEC business travel card? And you're like, dude, I go to Bangkok all the time. And my common response is, have you ever waited in line in Bangkok to get in? And, of course, these people work for Homeland Security. They've never left the friggin' border. Their vacation is they get to go to Virginia for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So they don't know. So they just nod their head and say, oh, yeah, it must be bad. Like, oh, yeah. And it can be. So anyway, so you got to prove you're doing business. And, of course, you and I are basically doing business in Thailand with Spot and with other, things. So it's easy for us to sort of justify the need for that. So basically, you get the interview for global entry. You then get your global entry. They'll give you a card, and then they also attach this information to your passport that allows you to go into the U.S. through the kiosks. And then you go in, and you're like, well, I want another program. Now, there's a similar program just for South Korea, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it's not as next finish as the APEC Business Travel Card. And because you need a visa for – and so the APEC – Asia Pacific Economic Collaboration. I can't remember what the C stands for. But for the sake of argument, we'll say it's Asia Pacific Economic Community, right? Which is basically all of these, Asia Pacific. The reason the U.S. is part of that is because California, obviously, part of the Pacific, Oregon, Washington, Alaska. So we're part of this Pacific thing.
Hawaii.
And, yeah, and so anyway, my point is that there's a lot of stuff you can do in the U.S., as you said, to distract yourself from the fact that you're not in Thailand. and really proactively plan for coming back to Thailand. And I used to preach this stuff long before I moved there permanently, November 2019. And then COVID happened. And thank God I put stuff in place that I didn't need to deal with for basically almost 3 years. Now, again, I'm not saying there's going to be another pandemic, but you never know. Like, I mean, I moved to Thailand thinking I'm going to cruise back to the U.S. every 8 months. And it's going to be easy, right? Spoiler alert, I literally could not leave because I didn't want to have to come back into Thailand and get, you know, the 2-week quarantine. I mean, I could have absolutely done it, right? But the point is that you prepare for anything that's going to happen. And that makes your time in Thailand freaking spectacular, in my opinion.
So did you have a one-way plane ticket?
I did. So that's a great question. So, and I left like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or something like this, right? And I rented a car in San Diego because I sold my car. So I rented a car, and it was, you know, drop off in Los Angeles. So I drop off my car at like 4 in the morning. I got 3 massive pieces of luggage. I go, and the one-way ticket, bro, it was like $400.
It's awesome.
It was friggin' awesome. So I get there, right, and I got these 3 packed pieces of luggage, right, and each of them I'm like, okay, I think I did. I get it up there. I get to the, you know, the thing, and he's like, it's like 61 kilos or something, right, and you're allowed 50. You know, so I got a 3rd bag, and I'm going to pay for the 3rd bag anyway. He's like, is there any way you can like pull it out? I said, dude, I am moving there permanently. Like, there's nothing, I can't move, you know, ship the seats in the Titanic. I didn't say that because that's not a good thing to say in the airport. Bomb and Titanic are not wise. And he's like, well, I'm going to have to charge you like, it was like another $200, $300. And of course I'm like, dude, I'm moving to Thailand. You could literally charge me $1,000 right now. I would not care. So, yeah, I had a one-way ticket, but I got to tell you, dude, like you, one-way ticket to Thailand, God, that felt good. I was like,
does feel good.
I don't know, maybe it's, I don't know, I guess when we were 20 and we just landed, like, you know, our first job isn't necessarily awesome, but like we got our first really friggin' awesome
real job.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, I have insurance. I'm an adult now. And it was like that feeling. It's like I'm moving to the next
That's a great feeling.
Stage, I guess, of my life, right?
Wow. That's a great way of putting that.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel also. It's like I'm preparing for my wedding. And guys, I've been divorced twice. I mean,
yeah, so that might not be the greatest analogy, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then so I tell you what, I know this is going to sound like a cheesy segue, but I do want to take a break because I want to let guys know about once you get to Thailand, once you get to Bangkok, and you're going to hang out in Bangkok, and you're probably going to go down to Pattaya or Jomtien. Robbie made this great video about how to get from Bangkok to Pattaya very inexpensively and with a lot of trust from your buddy who owns the taxi company, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Taxi,
so I tell you what, why don't we take a quick break right now, and we'll show you guys that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about these Thailand blues, hopefully with it a positive spin, and give you guys some idea of basically the best way to prepare to come to Thailand with that one-way ticket, right?
Perfect.
All right. Awesome.
Hey guys, this is Robbie from Walking in the Shoes. I'm with Kerwin GR Taxi Service in this luxury cab. Let's check it out. There's her information. She does speak English, and this is a beautiful car. She provides drinks for you, wet nap, all leather seating, super comfortable, luggage area, plenty of room for you and your friends. And again, she does speak English. Just say 1 or 2 words. Hello.
Hi everybody. I'm going taxi service car.
So guys, yeah, here is the cab I've taken. Very nice, brand new luxury vehicle. And price for this vehicle, for a luxury vehicle from Pattaya to the airport, you know, you can get as low as 1,000 baht, but for luxury, you're gonna pay a little bit more for, up to 1,500 baht. Anyways, beautiful brand new car. There it is. Yep, beautiful car. Yes. So here's her information. So be sure to give her a call. She books through Facebook. I will also provide it in the links below. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in to The Spot, and let's get back to the show. Peace.
wow. I mean, they kind of caught us, right? Like, just
there we go.
I gotta figure that out. Dr. Technology over here, and just so you know, the video didn't pause. I actually stopped it there because I thought, you know what, we need to like have the sticker there for people to like think they did anyway. So that was the reason. But yeah, I mean, and it's one of those deals, guys, where I mean, you're cruising around and you find these things, and there's not as much advertising for things like that in Thailand. No. So, I mean, there's a lot of word of mouth stuff. And so, I mean, I think it's neat that you made the video that you want to share. It's kind of cool, man. That's really cool.
Yeah. So, you know, Mike brought up, you know, this taxi service. There is cheaper services. You can take a bus if you wanted to. And I do have a video on that.
Yeah.
I do have video on that on my channel. But it was brought up earlier, you know, that I take first class or business class. And the answer is how much money I'm going to save being in Thailand within the first week or two.
Oh,
I can
God.
afford the luxury of dealing with my Thailand blues by taking a nice flight back home.
Right.
So it's not that I need to be a princess, you know, whatever, and have the luxury car or have the flight where I can sleep. But I'll be honest with you, the amount of money I save elsewhere, from the food to the rents, you know what? I'm going to pay the extra money and go with Kerwin GR Taxi or take my business United flight overseas. So, and if you have questions about that, be sure to hit me up.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, my email's down there. I updated Robbie's little ticker there underneath him. Obviously, Walking My Shoes Thailand is his YouTube channel, but Robbie at the spot.fm or Mike's at the spot.fm, but specifically Robbie at the spot.fm. Yeah. The whole prepping thing, obviously huge topic on, you know, almost every expat channel at some point, visas.
Yeah.
And right now, you have been coming in and out on the visa exempt status, where it's basically like, hey, I'm a tourist. Here's my U.S. passport. Great, buddy. You can stay here 30 days. And if you want to stay 30 more, then just go to immigration. And if unfortunately you overstay, then just pay us the fine on the way out. And, you know, we'll handshake and everything will be good. This next time.
October 1st, it goes to 45 days.
That's true. It's interesting how now is that long term? Because I saw a video on that yesterday, actually, that they're increasing.
To March 2023. So
so they're doing it for a 6 month trial sort of thing.
Yep. Yeah.
One thing you did mention though is the last time you entered Thailand, you didn't have to fill out a departure card.
That's correct.
Which is that is a delta in bureaucracy that is
times are changing
big time.
Times are changing.
Welcome to the future.
That's right. Love it.
The other thing too is that starting today, which is well, we're recording this right, but at the end of the day, what happened September 1st is they deployed a system similar. If you've ever entered or exited Hong Kong on the international side. They have, you know, the glass doors, right? And then they have like, basically it looks like an iPad with a camera and it looks at you. So it does an acknowledgement and you put a QR code down on a reader. And so basically it looks at your boarding pass and it does facial recognition and there's potentially
yes, those are cool.
And it allows you to basically get that, you know, through there really quick. And it allows people, you know, so they're piloting that at several areas in Suvarnabhumi. And so that'll be a new thing coming in as well as exiting. And so anyway, yeah, so that'll be sort of interesting. Obviously now if you're a Thai citizen and you're coming back into Thailand, then you have, you know, the glass doors and yeah. But
so they had that process when I went to Peru a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, where they had the little camera it actually sets itself to your height and you stand still for a minute, put your passport in, your fingers, and you know it's interesting. You still had to go to immigrate a live person to stand in and out. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, again, it's a process, right? They're transitioning, and at some point we'll be able to. I mean, you know, if you've come into Thailand more than once in the last, you know, several years, you've absolutely had your picture taken, and they do your fingers, and depending upon what time of entry it is, meaning it's your first, your second, your third, or your fourth. Sometimes you got to do your thumbs too, you know, as well as. So, you know, so they, at the end of the day, you know, big brothers, well, you know what, it just makes it easier as far as I'm concerned. So anyway, so visas. So what visa are you considering coming back to Thailand on?
So on this one, it'll be the same one.
Okay.
It'll be the same one, and I will be leaving for the Philippines for a week.
Okay.
Or actually a long weekend, I should say. I shouldn't say for a full week. I am leaving on Wednesday, coming back on Sunday, or Wednesday to Monday kind of a thing, to do a training again. So I'll reset my tourist thing again.
Yep.
And then the plan is to go to Vietnam for a week or two, Cambodia. And just, that's part of walking my shoes, right? The whole idea is I want to go tour these places.
Yes.
And it's not to live there. It's just, I've never been. You don't know what you don't know. And I would like to go to Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi and then do the Cambodia, the temple there. I forget the name of their capital. What's that called again?
The capital of Cambodia?
Yes.
Not Phnom Penh?
Yes, Phnom Penh. And then, if Lao ever comes back to normal, I'll go up there. So,
well, I think Lao is back to their normal.
Yeah. So, but my plan is to travel around, and then Kitty's planning. I'll take her with me when I go to Singapore and Bali, and
she has a passport.
Just do that. She does have a passport.
That's fantastic. That's actually an
zero stamps.
I know, right,
stamps.
Dude? Yeah, you remember that though? You remember when you had a passport and it was blank?
Oh, dude, my book is full. I can't believe how many stamps I have.
I think I got in under
happy.
the last. Oh no, dude, it was such a good feeling. I think I got in under the last time when you could have pages added and you didn't need to get a new passport. And then the last time before I moved to Thailand permanently, I had to get a new passport. It wasn't expiring for 2 years, but I had to get a new passport because there wasn't. I think you need a minimum of 2 blank pages for a lot of countries to let you in. Because in their mind, they're like, well, you're going to need 1 blank page for the actual sticker of a visa if you get one, and then you're going to need stamps on the other. And I didn't have that. And I was like, dude, I am so cool.
Yeah. We're part of the cool kids club.
Oh, I mean, it's not a requirement, guys. But honestly, if you want to be part of the cool kids table, you get enough stamps in your passport where you're like, I can't go anywhere anymore because I'm so full. That is what's known as a luxury problem for sure.
You're in for free.
But what you're doing, I mean, I think that's a really neat thing. A lot of guys say, I got to get a visa to go over there because it's so... And I said, one of the reasons, interestingly enough, that I did not get a long stay visa for a number of trips is I'm like, well, then I have to leave every 30 days. I mean, if I really want to stay in Thailand more than 30 days, I'll go to immigration. I'll give them $60.
Yeah.
They'll give me another 30 days. That'll be good. But it was a really neat excuse, right? To have to go to Vietnam for, basically I don't know, what do they call visa run or border run or something like that.
So you did Vietnam already?
Yeah. So Gracie and I actually, when was it? I think it was 2017. We went there for 2017 was still a time in my life where I was basically, I would use all of my vacation to make my Asia trips. Right.
Nice.
So we went there.
Right. You had a real job. That's right.
I know. Yeah, no, I had a job where they actually wanted me to show up. That was the agreement. The good news is that they were very flexible. And so I liked that a great deal. But so it was a university. And so, they did the math and they figured, if we literally close every single building for a full 2 weeks, we could save an enormous amount of money on electricity and everything. And then, of course, the dorms closed down. And so we'll just give people an additional 2 weeks. Are you guys okay with that? Of paid vacation? Yes. So and it's also a Catholic university. So they're like, oh my God, Christmas is a big deal. Awesome. I don't give a crap. I'm going to friggin' Buddhist countries.
That's right. Right.
But yeah, so I had the 2 weeks there. So then I would pad it with a week ahead and then pad it with a week behind. And then that allowed, for 4. So we went to, I believe we went to Thailand and actually got dental work. And then a few days later, we went to Vietnam. You do need a visa to go to Vietnam. At the time, what they offered U.S. citizens was a 1-year multiple entry visa. That's no longer available, but you can absolutely get in. I believe you can even use e-visa to get into Vietnam. And we went to Da Nang. If you're going to go to Da Nang, do not go over basically the last few weeks in December and the first few weeks in January. The weather is miserable. No, Tet is the Chinese, is the Lunar New Year basically, and that's in end of January, February, depends on the moon, right? But yeah, so Tet is a time to absolutely go there, but do not go for like the whole January 1st New Year thing. It was miserable. It was like 60 degrees, gray, and and I couldn't, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, I can get a beachfront like giant hotel for like $14. Like, this is awesome. And there's all this availability. Well, I got there and I realized why. So we went down to an island off the coast of Vietnam. Technically, it's more off the coast of Cambodia, but the Vietnamese, they own it, basically, called Pha Qua. And that was awesome. The weather there was fantastic. It was a great New Year's Eve. It was just really, really fun. And Ho Chi Minh City. Cool Kids Table, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, 10. And skadoosh. Ho Chi Minh City / Saigon is amazing. Because I preconceived notions, right? Mm-hmm. And I got there, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, Thailand, Bangkok, all right, yeah, it's pretty modern. It's not as modern. Absolutely not. It doesn't have their SkyTrain isn't in place effectively. They're still doing a pretty good job. Yeah. But there was
the videos sure look cool of Ho Chi Minh. I tell you that. There's some good YouTubers out there.
It's an amazing city. It's laid out very well, and there are oh God, they don't call them regions. What the hell do they call them? Not zones.
Not provinces.
No.
Not zones, not regions. Districts.
District 1, yeah. District 1, just through 7. Maybe higher than that. But I know that
it's higher than that.
District 1 is like kind of, maybe it's 9. I can't remember. Anyway, so, and it kind of goes out in concentric rings for a while, and then there's like 4s up here, and then 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, District 1 and District 7, I highly recommend. I agree with that. A lot of the guys that do shows from over there, they make it look really good. It's pretty damn modern. Like, in other words, I speak no Vietnamese. Gracie and I got out of the airport. I opened up the Uber app at the time. It's probably Grab now. Mm-hmm. But we opened up the Uber app. Guy came, didn't speak a word to either of us. Took us right to the hotel. We got out. I figured out how to say thank you. Come on. And that was it. And we left. And then he drove away. And it was, the same deal. It was like literally like a brand new Mitsubishi SUV like you were taking.
Nice. And I just yell, Xin Chao. Xin Chao, which means what up or hello.
In what? In Vietnamese?
Yeah, in Viet, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I'll have to double click on some Xin Chao, dude. There it
is.
Awesome.
Xin Chao. That's my only Viet word. That's the only Viet word I know. It's like Spanish. I know maybe 1 or 2 words in Spanish, and I know a heck of a lot more in Thai.
Yeah, buenas tardes, chica. Right? That's probably what you
I don't even know what that is. But
good afternoon, girl. Yeah.
There you go.
All right. So, so you're planning on coming back and you're going to do the travel thing, which I think is totally awesome.
Yeah. The goal is to get something that has a re-entry. The retirement visa, either I'm going to do it before I leave, which I know you've recommended, or I'm going to get it when I'm there. And I think this is going to be a topic for another show is should we hire an agent? So, and I think this would be a great show topic that the guys would like to listen. Should you hire an agent to get your retirement visa, and which one should you get?
Yeah.
And Mike and I both know there's tons of shows on YouTube you can look at, but when we give this show, it'll be fresh. It'll be right out of the internet, right out of the box.
Right out of the box, baby. Yeah, I mean,
box, man.
I guess it was, let's see. So the 1st of September also made available the 10-year visa, right? Which,
wow.
I mean, again, you can get 20-year visas, right, which are just basically multiple 5-year visas, but, they're not free, right? I mean, you can get a
elite.
You go through the elite program. You can get an elite visa, effectively, 20-year elite visa. That's big cash.
It's not like $30,000, $40,000 for a 20-year.
Let's see. What's the exchange? I think a 20-year elite visa. I mean, again, and it comes with a whole bunch of other stuff. So you're not just getting the visa. I was going to look it up. I think it's like, is it 5 million baht or is it 2 million baht?
I'm actually going to look it up, and I'm going to give you guys out of the box.
Out of the box,
what it says.
Yeah,
big online. So here we go. So we're looking at 5-year elite visa. 600,000 baht.
Oh, it's still only 600,000. That's good news. Okay.
It says Easy Access Elite. That's what that's titled.
There's
So
a bunch
zero
of
annual fees. Yeah.
There's a bunch of people that will basically provide you with a Thai Elite visa too. What you want to do is you want to go to Thailand-elite.com. That is the actual government program that is sponsored by the Department of Tourism, as well as, obviously immigration. And it's been around, it's been around for I almost want to say 20 years. Oh, yeah, July 2003, actually, it was instantiated. They've only got 15,000 members presently, but, and the smart visa that people talk about? I learned the other day there's less than 1,000 people that have smart visas, which is crazy, but anyway.
So why don't you tell us what the smart visa is real quick?
Okay. So so the smart visa basically is, and there's sort of the reason it has that label is it's focused on business and it's focused on bringing money, but it's also really sort of focused on bringing, resources into Thailand. So by that, smart people who are innovative and that sort of thing. And so there's basically 4 categories with the ability to bring your spouse underneath yours. And so there's the ability to get a visa if you are an entrepreneur, which basically means you come in, you give them a certain amount of money. The goal is within 2 years, you're going to form a company. That's also the startup version. You just need less basically commitment, less financial commitment, and you can do it on your own. But the goal is look, we'll give you a visa up to 2 years, but we expect you to start a Thai company in that. But it's also through the Board of Investment, or the BOI. And what that affords you is the ability to be able to form a company and not have to hire 4 Thai people for every foreigner that you employ. So that's a nice thing. The other one is an investment, version, which basically means you come in and you're like, all right, look, here's $5 million. Here's 5 million baht. I'm going to throw it into a Thai bank account and I'm going to invest in stuff. And so they're like, all right, well, we'll give you a visa. Now, presumably you're going to invest, because you have to apply and say, this is why I want this visa, right? And so, and then the final one, I'm trying to remember what the 4th one is. But at the end of the day, if you just Google Smart Visa Thailand, you'll probably end up going to the BOI website, which is smart-visa.boi.go.th. Right? So at the end of the day, just Google Smart Visa Thailand, and it'll go over basically the 4. And then the nice thing is that when you, as the person who gets it, you're allowed to basically roll in your spouse underneath you, roll in your children, they get a visa of similar length. So, so there's... go ahead.
Yeah. And now, of course, this is for people probably who've already been here. And who are setting up that. And it is a way to get over the Thailand blues. I'm bringing it back around to the Thailand blues, how it's a good distraction. As you mentioned earlier, I think you were saying about planning your next trip, or maybe I misunderstood that. But, planning your next visit, making sure it's perfect. I mean, really gets you over that hump.
For sure. And again, it's designed, I'll just read verbatim directly from their website, which is designed to attract highly skilled manpower, investors, executives, and startup entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So that was the whole startup, entrepreneur that I was talking about, but it's also executives, right? So if you come over and you're sponsored by a big company, like Dell or IBM or something like that, then you can get one of those, and it's granted for a maximum of 4 years, which would basically be 2 2-year visas, and they would just renew. So anyway, so that's definitely an option. But the Thailand Elite, let's go back to what is the 20-year? Yeah, 2 million baht, right? And so
so what is that? $60,000? Am I getting that wrong? No.
USD, I think it's about 55,000. Yeah. So I mean, right now it's let's see, what are you getting for a US dollar? 36.8. Wow, that's outstanding. It was just 35 the other day, or not the other day, maybe a week or so ago.
Yeah,
so that's pretty good.
Your bot.
Yeah. So if you get 55,000 bucks, and you give that to the program, and you forfeit it, but you don't have to have any money in the bank that just kind of sits there, which arguably you're forfeiting anyway. But I will also tell you, I have a very good friend who lives in Bangkok. He actually bought a Thai Elite visa off of a guy who had a 20-year visa. Now, years ago, they also had Thailand Elite, and the version never expired. So this guy bought one of those, and it renews every 5 years, and he was able to sell it to this guy. And the guy like called up Thailand Elite, like, okay, this guy's trying to sell me his Elite visa online. Like, can it transfer? And they're like, yeah, we can transfer it, but it's going to cost you $1 million. Baht. It's going to cost you $1 million baht to transfer it. But he did the math, and he's like, okay, so like I'm married to a Thai woman, and I'm here, and this is the best visa I can get. And if I give you guys this money, I have a visa for the rest of my life. And he's like 30. Yeah, he's like, I think he's like 40. He's not even,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So no, I mean, it was a pretty good deal. I do not believe that, Annie, I do not believe that you can. I know you can transfer them. I know you can buy someone who's got like a 20-year visa that's got like 10 years left on it, and you go through Elite, and they do the transfer process. And, I mean, they're not there to like necessarily make your travels amazing. They're there to generate money. So, they would prefer if you come in and actually buy one yourself versus buying a used one, But because of that, they're going to charge you some money to transfer it. But at the end of the day, it's totally an option. And like you,
I think that's a great option. I almost did that. I was, considering the 5-year. Because I want to come and go. I know with my business, I need to be able to do that.
Well, I'll tell you, they do have the 20-year version that is 1 million baht. And it comes with like less features, but for a person, for an individual, it's pretty good because you're like, okay, so let's see, $30,000, I mean, for the sake of argument, and let's say 30,000, easy number. $30,000 over 20 years, right? So you're like, okay, well, that's not, a ton of money, but it's like basically like $2,600 a year, right? So like $3,000 a year, like, okay, over the course of, so that's about $250 a month for a visa. It's like, well, I don't know. If like,
what I pay in rent, buddy.
No, I know, right? Same here. And so I'm like, okay, that's a little steep, but then I don't have to deal with it. So I don't know. It's kind of like basically the business. It's business class. You're always flying business class at the end of the day.
Yeah.
With one of days, and that's what they want. I mean, it's an elite, and they love privilege in Thailand. And I mean, it's a society sort of based on privilege and class and that sort of thing. So if you're elite and you have VIP service and you get a limo every time you come to Bangkok, it could be definitely an option, but. Like you, it's kind of like, I don't mind being forced to travel.
That's right.
It's a really, really good excuse. Now, when you come back to Thailand, or let's say for the sake of argument, when you come back to Southeast Asia, what's your plan for full stay over here, even amidst all that Southeast Asia travel? You stay for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year?
Yeah, so this next trip is to stay, the goal is to stay a minimum 6 months. So November through April, probably 7 months because I want to stay through Songkran.
Oh,
sure. Songkran.
Yeah.
Robbie the Butcher, butchering the name.
Robbie the Butcher, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go. So I'd want to stay through that holiday, but I need to be flexible. So I do have a one-way ticket. Which is awesome. I'm excited about that one-way ticket.
Oh, dude,
because if I don't have to come back, maybe I don't come back. If I want to come back early and then come back again like I did this past year, that's fine. I'm kind of a planner, so my plan isn't until 2023 to be full-time in Bangkok. Or excuse me, in Thailand.
Right.
Yep. So... And part of that plan is because I do own a business back in the States. So I need to take care of that, because that is how I make it. I have an awesome team in the Philippines, awesome team in California that's working their tail off and does a great job and, live my best life. And I coach them, always live yours.
That's nice, dude. That's awesome. One thing I will say, because I know this will come up relative to the one-way ticket and you saying that you're not going to get a long-term visa. If you have a long-term visa and you show up at the airport and you have a one-way ticket, they're like, that's fine, whatever. I would recommend for you, as well as those that are not going to come over on a visa but do have a one-way ticket to Thailand, buy yourself a refundable ticket, especially in your case. Vietjet Air is very reasonable. and they offer free like transfers if you get like literally one level up. So it's like $35. And as long as you show them a ticket that basically says, look, I'm leaving Thailand. They don't really care where you go, as long as you're saying, yeah, I'm going to get out within 30 days. And then you can just move it for free. I've done that before. And they refer to like throwaway ticket or, you know, onward ticket or whatever they call it. But it's just easy because then you get to the airport and you don't have to hassle with it.
Yeah, and I will book my Philippine trip before I leave the States for sure. So I'll have that. Hey, you're out of the country. Okay. But, you know, it does say that on the NBC website, you must have a return ticket.
Yeah.
But I have never been asked to show the return ticket.
And I'm right there with you. And I have entered Thailand with visas, and I've entered it visa exempt. And I'm trying to think if they ever... I think they may have, like, asked me, but I know for a fact I've never had to show them anything. Like this last time you came in, right? You said, they said, oh, how long are you staying? You know, and with a tear in your eye, you're like, a week.
Oh, yeah. They knew I was depressed.
Yeah, they looked at you. They're like, oh, farang. It's okay.
So speaking of Thailand blues, Mike, so this is me. Again, I'm still the newbie, the new kid on the block. You, the guy with some experience. You have a home here. You have a wife who's not from here, but you have a wife that you both live here in Thailand. Do you still get Thailand blues? And what is that for you? Or is it not anything relevant anymore?
So it is. It's just a different version, right? So gratefully right now, and again, you know, there's a lot of factors why I'm okay here in the U.S. And I haven't seen my parents in almost 3 years. That was not the plan. So there's that, right? So I'm able to be like, okay, you know, this is okay. Additionally, the weather here is to my liking. My environment is very comfortable, and I'm with Gracie, right? So I'm not like somewhere. But yeah, there are certain things that I miss, and you mentioned it actually on the last video, as far as like the friendliness of people. Like you went from the Philippines to Thailand, and I think both of us will say that, you know, people in the Philippines are still pretty friendly. But there's just a different kind of friendliness. I was commenting to Gracie several times just driving around here, and I'm not talking like, you know, in Boston, in New York City, in Los Angeles. I'm talking about just like local roads. And around here, like literally, we just walk up to the street and the cars stop. Like there doesn't have to be a crosswalk, you know, or whatever. And so they're very cautious. They're very courteous the way they drive. But, you know, you get out on and the way people drive around here, I'm like, people say that, you know, oh my God, the way the Asians drive. Even in Bangkok, as far as I'm concerned, the way the Thais drive is incredibly polite, very courteous. And if you're over 60 and you're walking across the street in Thailand, dude, all traffic stops. Nobody beeps. Nobody's throwing the finger out the window. So there's little behaviors like that give me I don't know if it's the Thailand blues, but it's certainly the encouragement like, hey, Mike, you still made the right decision.
You did. Awesome.
Because I remember being there, like I got there November 2019. The world was normal. Gracie and I have our whole future planned, right? And then like March shows up and Gracie's got to go home because if she doesn't, at the time, no one knew what to do.
I remember that.
She's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go home. Okay, great, cool. You go home because you got to go home because you're a Filipino citizen. And then in 2 weeks, you'll come back and, of course, you know, life will be perfect. And I remember 6 months in, right? So I'm in like April and May. Gracie's not there. And it's COVID. And the good news, of course, at the time, I mean, the first year of COVID, Thailand had effectively no cases. Like there was no COVID.
Nothing.
There was panic, and there was absolutely people getting it. Don't get me wrong. But everyone's wearing masks, and the economy cratered, and people are literally in bread lines. You know, so, I mean, it wasn't fun. But the amount of disease around was not significant, and you could still kind of travel. And I took the train down to Cha-am, and I took it down to Prachap Kurikan, and I'm down there by myself. And I remember I'm making a video, and I'm like, okay, I'm 6 months in. Did I make the right decision? Because, of course, it's friggin' COVID, right? People will panic. Oh, my God, I got to go home. Because if I don't go home, I won't ever get home. And I was like,
and I'm watching those videos, by the way.
Oh, were those some of the ones?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You're like, well, wait, there's a pandemic, and he's still happy. Either he's not sober anymore, or it's actually real.
Yeah.
So that was
pretty cool.
That was cool, but yeah, I mean, leaving Thailand is a great way to solidify the fact that living in Thailand was a super smart decision for my mental health, for my future. I have this wife. I have a family now that's in the Philippines, and I have a family like you. I mean, I texted a few of my buddies in my building the other day, and they're Thai, and so I have like friends there. Like, I guarantee you, when Gracie and I go home and we walk down the sidewalk to the spot where actually you and I departed one day, where I got my coconut shake.
Yeah,
from
we got
that
the smoothies.
guy. I walk by that guy. He is going to be ear to ear smiles. Oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long, And I'm like,
so how long has it been? How long has it been?
So it will be, by the time we get back, it will be 87 days. I think we were almost gone a full 3 months. Yeah. And,
that's a long time.
Yeah. And again, dude, if I was here for like December, January, and February in New England, I would have been like, okay, I'm going to last like 4 days. None of this like 3 months.
And we can't be friends if that happens.
Absolutely.
No.
Because I wouldn't know how to spell gratitude attack, and that's a requirement for our friendship.
That's right. There you go. You would not be a cool kids table. So
yeah. So I guess it's kind of like the reminder that, hey, you made the right decision to like go back to where. And I remember I grew up here in the Boston area, and I moved to San Diego full time. And, San Diego comes and it's like, oh, well, it's Christmas. I guess I got to fly home and be with my family because it's Christmas. And I did that. I'm like, I am never doing this again, because San Diego in January is quite nice.
It's freaking nice, man.
So then the only time I would ever come home would be in the summer. So that was tolerable. But I also left San Diego for money, right? Because that's I don't know. It seems like guys, at least in their 30s, they got to take a job for the money. And then they're miserable.
Do it once.
Do it totally.
I've done that. I've done that.
And I moved to St. Louis. And St. Louis, the people are wonderful, but every morning I woke up and I was in friggin' St. Louis. And I had a 3-story house, all brick, 2-car garage, Mercedes convertible, and it costs me nothing, and I was living the dream, and I hated it. All I did is go online to southwest.com and figure out how the hell I could get back to San Diego. And
get out.
But until I left, I wasn't completely convinced, like, this is the place for me. So I think that's almost a requirement to kind of like test out, like just to make sure. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not. But I think that also doing that process, it allowed me to have a lot less Thailand blues when I'm not in Thailand.
Wow.
I was with Gracie, and we went to the Philippines to basically get married again, to go through a ceremony at her farm with her parents and her family and 350 of our closest friends. And and I was missing Thailand there because like the sun is different, but it's also like you when you were there. I mean, I was also in Manila, and it's like, man, it's not really modern. And at the time, it was actually pretty safe. Right now, it's not super safe in Manila, which is too bad. There's more kidnappings, which is a real bummer. But even like, and then we tried Malaysia like 3 times. We did KL, Kuala Lumpur, and then we did 2 of the islands, and I can't remember the names of them, but they're very popular Malaysian vacation islands for expats and stuff. So we went to 2 of those. And it's actually kind of a similar paradigm where there's like Koh Samui and Koh Phangan, right? So like many people know about Koh Samui. There's tons of people there, probably next to Phuket. It's got the highest density of expats. And then there's Koh Phangan, which is like just north of it, and it's kind of chill and it's relaxed, and there's less foreigners, and you walk around, you wear yoga pants, and all. And so that's kind of similar to those 2 islands in Malaysia. So we tried Malaysia 3 times, and it just wasn't our jam. We didn't feel it. And it was like one of those deals where it's like, okay, I definitely want to get back to Thailand.
Yeah.
Vietnam that you mentioned, I definitely want to get back to Vietnam, and I want to explore. I mean, look, dude, look on a map. The whole country is beachfront on the east side. And I'm like, how cool would it be to like not necessarily rent a motorbike, because I'm not 25 years old like Patty Doyle. So I want to rent a car with AC and 6-way seats, but drive the whole coast How cool
I
would
think
that be?
I think that guy's like 35 or 40,
He's-
isn't he?
I know he's not 40. I know he's not 40, but you're right. Yeah, he is 35. He's not a complete child. And I love him to death, and I am so thrilled. You see,
he's
100,000 subscribers, right? Oh,
Yeah, he just got that,
what a
man.
star.
And by the way, his Vietnam story is awesome. And speaking of Thailand blues, the cool thing about Patty, he expresses his emotional status leaving Thailand, coming back to Thailand. So definitely check out his channel because I've personally related to his mental well-being, mental health, and the way he takes care of it's pretty awesome. I love it.
It's nice when you find someone like that who's well, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm incorrect, but as transparent as you and I are. I mean, it's two guys sitting here in a live stream talking about our feelings, for God's sake. You know, I know. It's like, that's not really cool. And it's like, dude, I cry when I'm sad and I cry when I'm happy. The good news is at least 51% of the time, the tears are from happiness. So that's good enough. But
that's right.
But yeah, I mean, I think I tell you what. Again, this is if you're watching this live, you're basically watching the premiere. And Robbie has been in the chat live, so feel free again to put comments to him. But we wanted to do this because we wanted to keep the momentum going. We wanted to keep the morning show going, and then next week will actually be a live show, and we'll both be live. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to kind of wrap up. And again, take some of your questions right now. Robbie can do that in the chat. But also, once this basically republishes on our channels, which are Live My Ass Off, Walking in My Shoes Thailand, and more importantly, The Spot.
That's right.
So I tell you what, let's put up The Spot. I know you guys you're not going to be able to see this. Sorry, you're not going to be able to click on it if I put it in the crawl. So, but what Robbie will do, because he's in the chat, he'll copy and paste the link to the
absolutely
to the Spot YouTube channel, because we really want you guys to subscribe to that, because at the end of the day, that's going to be like where we end up. And
and most of the content will be this stuff, for right now, especially.
For sure. All right, dude. So, all right, this is great. Let's take a quick break here, and then what we will do is we will come back and we will say hello and goodbye, and we will live the dream with you guys. Greetings, aloha. What's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. Just wanted to thank you guys for coming by and engaging basically with the live stream. It's really great to be able to answer your questions. It's an honor, quite frankly. And so one of the things that I wanted to touch on here as we do a quick little break, there's the Live My Ass Off YouTube channel, which Gracie and I are grateful that you guys watch. And hopefully the recent videos have been informative and fun. It's been fun for me to do it. I'm definitely gonna ramp up the number of live streams that I do. But this one here specifically, to address one of the questions that I get from a lot of people, which is, Mike's, what's The Spot? And so The Spot is definitely what Kiss FM Pattaya is transitioning into. But it's more than just a radio station in Pattaya. It's more than just a radio station in Thailand. It's gonna be pretty much the center for entertainment, for advertising, for information, and for fun. And Robbie and I are the guys that are embarking on this journey. And we're doing it through this live stream, which is gonna happen every Saturday morning, East Coast time right now at 9 a.m. every Saturday evening, which is 8 p.m. Bangkok time, 9 p.m. in the Philippines, but then also 6 a.m. on the West Coast. We're gonna transition into basically having this every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Bangkok time. So that's gonna be fun. And that's happening later in the year. But for right now, I just wanted to give you guys the opportunity to ask a lot more questions. With that, it's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com saying I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, well, then you're doing it wrong. We'll talk to you soon. All right, thanks a lot for letting me take a break. I really appreciate it. Let's get back to it. What do you say? And with a nice visual of a urinal cake later, back we come. That was fun.
That was awesome, man.
That was awesome. I wanted to give a little bit more about, clarity around The Spot. And again, it's the infamous living document, for Robbie and I. Like, we're coming up, with new ideas as we go along.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean,
and we want to hear from you. Yeah, we want to hear from you guys.
That's the thing, is that we really want to make sure that we can engage you guys. And while, again, we said, we wanted to keep the momentum of these live streams, even though these aren't technically live, there's live in the chat, as I mentioned. And we're going to have, it's obviously a premiere. And so, and you can watch it on demand later on Robbie's channel, Walking in My Shoes, Thailand, on mine, Live My Ass Off. But again, at the spot Thailand, best thing to do. If you can Google that or you can YouTube that, or you can Google that too. And subscribe to the channel, for all the upcoming stuff. So, but as far as Thailand Blues goes, what do you want? Let's put a bow on it, as they say, because again, we don't want to leave you guys. Well, it's going to happen, but there's tons of stuff you can do. So
tons of stuff you can do. And you guys, if you haven't been here, do not let the Thailand Blues scare you off, make any excuses. Go ahead, pack your bags, book your ticket, and show up. Let the Thailand Blues happen, if they're going to happen, which I can almost guarantee they are, but it is 100% worth it. And you will never regret coming to Thailand, but you will regret not coming to Thailand. So don't let that be, don't let that be your song and dances, your regrets, because you won't regret showing up here.
For sure.
Yeah, I can promise you that. Thailand Blues or not, you will not regret it. But you'll regret not booking and not knowing, because you only know what you know, guys, and you don't know what you don't know. Because I believe you got to live your best life. Right?
Unconscious and competent. Yeah.
That's it. Live your best life. Go where you're treated best, because if you're not living.
There you go. I do want to shout out another thing that you got going on, dude, which is Whims Media. And that I got that link below. It'll be in the chat. It'll be in the description. Because like Robbie said, make your trip. Book it over here. And on his website, what do you click on to get like the itinerary, the recommended itinerary for Thailand?
Oh, I don't remember the actual link, but you guys ask, I will just go ahead and type it in, because I'll be live with you guys.
Yeah.
But you can go to my website. You can see a full itinerary, which I will be doing with several guys. You're welcome to come along, as long as you're okay with being on YouTube.
Yeah.
But you are welcome to come along with me, and I help you through the booking process. I don't book it for you. You book your own stuff. So there is no money that you're handing me or anything like that. It's just hang out with the YouTube guy, and we're going to go have fun and have a great time and live your best life and show you what it's like.
And the good news is it's basically a 14-day trip itinerary. And again, they're not like paying you, right? It's just like, look, I'm doing this anyway. So if you guys want to come and join me and do this, it's a real great way, because again, every now and then, people, hire a tour guide. Okay, that can be fine. But there's also, remember you and I were talking about it. You're like, okay, well, this day is for you. Like, I got you to the beach, but you're in charge of swimming or whatever. And
I'm not a babysitter.
No, exactly. And that's, that's the worst thing, really, I think, for a lot of people, because everyone's going to have a little bit of a different, way they want to do it. So anyway, whimsmedia.com.
We'll have a half dozen. Yeah, and we'll have a half dozen guys go on this trip, maybe more. And I'd love for you guys to come. Last time we had 4 or 5 guys.
Nice.
So this is a group thing, and it's a lot of fun. And we hang out together, and we don't even know each other. And guys, we had a 20-year-old go with us. So it is, the ages are pretty. A 20-year-old, you're thinking, oh, great, I got to babysit this guy.
It's not just
this guy.
He had his own deal, huh?
He had his own deal. But yeah, majority's going to be 50, 60-year-olds, which is fine. We have a great time. We're going to go to some bars, clubs, scuba diving if that's your jam, boat tours, all sorts of cool stuff.
Okay.
Full itinerary. Check it out.
Definitely. Awesome. There's the full link there. And again, Robbie will have put it into the chat. It's definitely in the description below. And with that, I mean, like you said, dude, live your best life. And with that, it's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com saying, I hope you're living the dream. Because if you're not living the dream, you're doing it wrong. And hopefully I can do this correctly today. We're going to do the ultimate, there we go, high five over 7,500 miles.
That's right.
And we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Peace, guys.